Hello and welcome to the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We're reaching you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Tessie Omiri. Let's begin with the headlines.
We will ensure that development is not lopsided but balanced, inclusive.
President Tinubu reaffirms commitment to infrastructure development, inaugurates key Abuja-Lokoja Road project. Brazilian vice arrive Abuja ahead of Nigeria-Brazil strategic dialogue.
True development that is needed for rural communities is the development that will stimulate growth.
Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives assures that requests for creation of local governments will be scrutinized in line with constitutional requirements. Nigeria and IAEA strengthen radioactive and radiation safety measures. We begin with infrastructure development. In a bold stride towards national development, President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to prioritizing the provision of vital infrastructure across all the zones of the Federation. The President stated this during the inauguration of the 15-kilometer A2 junction road along the Abuja-Lokoja Expressway to Pai community in Kwali Area Council. Onozi Yakubu brings us details.
Officially commissioned by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, DCFR, President Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, on Monday, 23rd of June, 2025.
A promise made and now fulfilled for residents of Pai and its neighboring communities. The 15-kilometer road linking the A2 junction to Pai has been completed and delivered on schedule.
In the past, our people had serious challenges transporting their goods to the market. And it has not been funny transporting these goods to the market. But really you can see that everybody is happy.
This road, it doesn't just serve as an infrastructure to FCT, but also as a lifeline with objectives of opening economic opportunities, access to healthcare, access to education, access to farm and market.
FCT Minister Yesen Wike said the government has so far constructed 150 kilometers of roads across satellite towns in an effort to promote inclusive governance in the territory.
For this year's commissioning, Your Excellency, we will commission 10 kilometers of Aguma Palace Road, Radio Road, New Market in Gwagwalada. We have done Yanya Karishi, Dual Carriage Road, 18 kilometers. We are going to commission 7.4 Old Oshafa Road and the reputation of Duse Lower Usma Dam, 7.4 kilometers. Your Excellency, we are going to commission dualization of building of Oshafa War College to Army Checkpoint, 16.4 kilometer road and other and drive. That will be done on 26th of this month, which is Thursday. If you calculate all, and the ongoing roads and the ones completed within the satellite towns, you've done not less than 150 kilometers of roads.
President Bola Tinubu, who inaugurated the route, described it as both symbolic and strategic. He said the route offers a glimpse of prosperity and opportunity, particularly in boosting the national economy through agriculture and food production.
We will ensure that development is not lopsided but balanced, inclusive, and targets third at lifting life. Rural communities such as Pai, make important contributions to Nigeria's social and economic fabric, especially in food production and local enterprises. But their potential has been hindered by poor road access, isolation, and neglect for far too long. Today, that narrative is changing.
The president urged local communities to take ownership of the project and ensure it serves as a pathway to development and improved livelihoods. Onoze Yakubu, NT News.
And from roads, let's take a look at agriculture. President Bola Tinubu has inaugurated more than 2,000 units of agricultural equipment and implements aimed at enhancing the country's food security. The heavy-duty machinery were deployed under the Nigeria-Belarus partnership. Musa Baba Aliu tells us more.
This is the first time in the history of Nigeria that a large number of tractors and other agricultural equipment have been deployed to enhance productivity. This achievement is in fulfillment of President Tinubu's renewed hope for food security. The tractors which were assembled in Abuja were procured under the Nigeria-Belarus mechanization partnership that was formalized in September 2024. President Tinubu stated that the initiative aims to uplift Nigeria's food production capability, increase farmers' output, and create jobs for younger people.
The allocation of this equipment throughout the country will do a lot to give our nations abundant arable land and favorable climate that we have. We must seize the opportunity to achieve complete agricultural independence and food sovereignty. To all stakeholders receiving this equipment, deploy them with maximum efficiency. We will work with you.
The president thanked the Belarus government for its partnership, which facilitated the deployment of the equipment. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, provided a breakdown of the equipment, which include 2,000 high-quality tractors with trailers, plows, harrows, sprayers and planters, 10 state-of-the-art combined harvesters, 12 fully equipped mobile workshops, 50 bulldozers for agricultural and land development, and over 9,000 complementary implements and spare parts.
This program was designed by this administration to bring over 550,000 hectares of farmland under cultivation, generate more than 2 million metric tons of staple food, create over 16,000 jobs, and directly benefit more than 550,000 farming households across all 6 geopolitical zones.
This particular program is unique because it was packaged with the intention to bring down the level of low mechanization in the country. The 0.27 horsepower per hectare, that is the current mechanization level in this country, will be transformed to almost 2.5 horsepower per hectare at the end of the day.
To maximize impact, the tractors will be distributed through 3 key schemes: direct purchase for individuals and organizations wishing to acquire them outright, a leasing scheme that offers affordable access to mechanization without the full cost of ownership, and a service provider model that establishes tractor service centers in farming communities, enabling smallholder farmers to lease tractors as needed. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is to embark on a working visit to Nasarawa State tomorrow. The president is expected to perform some activities during the visit. And joining us live via Zoom from Lafia to speak on the visit is Yakubu Lamai, the Director General Strategic Communication and Event Management to Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State. Thank you for joining us, Yakubu Lamai.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine. The President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is expected in Nasarawa State tomorrow. Lamai, can you tell us what are the preparations for the visit?
Well, there's palpable excitement. It's very excitable excitement in Nasarawa State for us as we get ready to host Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, in Lafayette tomorrow. He would be coming to commission first the masterclass secretariat that we have. It's an ultra-modern secretariat that is one of a kind in the country. And then there is the flyover and the underpass, which His Excellency the President would also commission. And then there will be the distribution of agricultural equipment and vehicles to help security personnel. That also is going to be part of the visit of Mr. President. So essentially, we have the secretariat, we have the flyover, and we also have the underpass. These are the things, and we're really very excited to receive Mr. President tomorrow morning.
Lamai, what are the activities expected, to be performed by the President, aside the inauguration of these projects you have highlighted?
Okay, well, you see, essentially, from our standpoint, when His Excellency the President was contesting as a candidate, he said he was bringing renewed hope agenda. And if you recall, in 2008 in Lagos, he created then, when he was governor, the Lagos Master Plan. Our own governor, Engineer Abdullahi A. Sule here, also, when he came in, he had his economic blueprint called the Nasarawa Economic Development Strategy. So it is almost like an offshoot of the renewed hope agenda, because indeed our governor also participated vigorously when they were sharing the renewed hope agenda during the campaigns. So what the president would be seeing is not just the physical manifestation of highly aesthetic flyover and underpass and secretariat, but also a very clear, tangible results of prudent economic management. And the fact that we're also thinking like what he's doing at the federal level, to create what would last for generations to come. Empower the youth with solar-generated keke tricycles, and at the same time, make sure that because of the improved flow of revenue, because of course the removal of the oil subsidy, our governor has been able to have the opportunity to really translate his own actions, his own ideas and vision into very practical actions that we're seeing. And that is basically what the president would come and see in the physical, but also we hope would also understand, and the country will also take away from the visit tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Director General Strategic Communication and Events Management, to Governor Abdullahi Sule Yakubu Lamai. I would be right to say promise made and promise kept.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much.
Nasarawa State people, a beautiful time hosting Mr. President tomorrow. We now take a break. The news at 10 continues in just a moment. Do stay with us.
His Excellency Engineer Abdullahi A. Sule and the entire good people of Nasarawa State heartily welcome President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR to Nigeria's home of solid minerals, where Mr. President will commission the ultra-modern State Secretariat, distribute operational vehicles to security personnel, and solar keke tricycles to young entrepreneurs. President Tinubu will also commission the superior Lafayette flyover and underpass, cut the ribbon to Shandam Road, and hold a town hall meeting with stakeholders to be crowned royal homage on the Emir of Lafayette, Justice Sidi Bagay Mohammed I. Wednesday, the 25th of June 2025 is the date. History beckons as Nasarawa State is set to welcome Mr. President.
Many thanks for staying tuned. Brazilian Vice President Geraldo Alckmin and his wife Maria Lucia Alckmin touched ground this morning at the presidential wing of Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, marking the commencement of the highly anticipated second session of the Nigeria-Brazil Strategic Dialogue Mechanism. The high-profile visit, which kicks off today, represents a promising moment in Nigeria's South-South diplomatic engagement and is expected to yield significant policy breakthroughs across multiple sectors. The Brazilian delegation was received by Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Senator Ibrahim Hassan Hadijia, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mukhtar Maiha, Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, and other senior Nigerian government officials. Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Ibrahim Hassan Hadijia, described this visit as a pivotal moment in Nigeria's renewed hope agenda, emphasizing the strategic importance of deepening ties with Brazil. The three-day summit will culminate in the signing of over 30 memoranda of understanding across critical sectors, including defense cooperation, agricultural technology, transfer energy collaboration, and cultural exchange programs. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to the safety of all residents and its maintaining Abuja's reputation as one of the most secure capitals in the world. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, in a statement, categorically reaffirmed that Abuja remains safe for citizens, residents, and visitors alike. He said the federal government has taken note of the latest security advisory issued by the U.S. Embassy, restricting its staff and their families from non-official travel to military sites or other government facilities in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The government, he added, recognizes and respects the right of foreign missions, including the U.S. Embassy, to issue travel advisories to their citizens. But the current security architecture in Abuja has not only been proactive, but has also recorded significant successes in detecting, preventing, and neutralizing threats. The U.S. advisory, the minister said, is based on general global developments and does not reflect any imminent or specific threat within the FCT. He, however, made it clear to all diplomatic missions, investors, development partners, and the general public that there is no cause for alarm, as security and intelligence agencies are monitoring developments across the country and are fully prepared to respond decisively to any threat. Minister Idris encouraged citizens to conduct their lawful activities without fear, while also remaining vigilant and reporting any suspicious activity to the relevant authorities. Still talking security, the Joint Security Services in Benue State have announced the arrest of suspects linked to the recent attack in Yelwata area of the state, where several people were killed. The Commissioner of Police in Benue State, Ifeanyi Emenari, announced the arrest at a media briefing at Government House in Makudi. Blessing Omeche Ebute has details.
The Commissioner of Police Benue State, Ifeanyi Emenari, while briefing journalists after the joint security meeting, reiterates commitment of the police and other security agencies to tackle terrorism and criminal activities across the state. CP Emenari assured citizens that both urban centers and remote communities are receiving priority attention in the ongoing security operations. On the June 13th Yelwata attack that claimed innocent lives and sparked widespread condemnation, CP Emenari confirmed that a number of suspects linked to the incident have been apprehended. He promised that their identities will be disclosed at the appropriate time.
We can assure you that a number of the suspects who committed the heinous act are with police. And with in due course, we will make a press release on that, and you will know them. But you can assure you that we have arrested a number of them, and we are still on the trail of some of them. About for the motivation of the government I can assure you that we work hand in hand with the state governor.
On measures to safeguard internally displaced persons, CP Emenari stated that IDP camps surrounding villages and farms are being given robust security coverage. He commended Governor Alia for his sustained effort and readiness to provide additional resources to strengthen peace-building efforts. He further noted that the deployment of special task force teams and mobile police squads have been expanded to ensure no part of the state is left vulnerable. He warned against any form of mob action or jungle justice, urging citizens to report suspected individuals to the nearest police formation for proper investigation. In Makudi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
Speaker of the House of Representatives Abbas Tajuddin has condemned the suicide bombing in Konduga, Borno State and another explosion in Kano over the weekend, which led to loss of lives. The Speaker, in a statement, decried the rising spate of attacks and deaths from different incidents around the country in recent times, while charging security and intelligence agencies to be on alert at all times. Abbas also urged relevant humanitarian agencies to cater for the victims and their families, while praying for the repose of the souls of the deceased. Now that Nigeria is attracting positive interest from investors and the rest of the global community, we must do whatever we can do to promote the image of the country, starting with ending the surge of violence in some parts of the country. First Lady Oluremi Tinubu stated this while reacting to the violent attacks in Benue and Plateau states on the margins of the 2025 second quarter high-level meeting with state governors, the state governors' wives and RHI state coordinators in her office. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
It is the second year of Renewed Hope Initiative's interventionist program, and state governors' wives, enablers of the initiative's activities, again converged on the office of the First Lady for their quarterly meeting, this time for a mid-term assessment.
Educating Linda, which is
from taking stock of RHI interventions in all its 5 focal areas to getting feedback on its collaboration and advocacy in health, agriculture, and economic empowerment, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu outlined other programs which seek to empower women and children in the country.
For TED Fund and RHI collaboration, construction ongoing for ICT experience centers in Taraba, Kaduna, Kwara, Ekiti, Anambra, and Cross River.
With our eyes set on getting communities involved in protecting the environment, the First Lady announced a new competition tagged RHI Green Nigeria Challenge that will not only roll back desert encroachment, but also tackle indiscriminate disposal of plastic waste.
We have the household category, which is tree planting, target 2 years or less, and is households in the northern Nigeria. And prize money, we peg it to 10 million. Number 2 is the community Green Transformation Challenge, which is transformation of degraded community areas into green parks, garden, and eco spaces. State tree planting project, Eco Rise Challenge, that's what it is called, for each state, and that's for 1 year. This is open to all Nigerians across 36 states and FCT.
At present, the nation enjoys a fresh breath of air in the international community, and so cannot afford to be dragged back by insecurity.
This is evil, very, very evil. We women have to pray, because I don't know those who are so bloodthirsty. This shouldn't be happening, but work is going to keep going. Well, we're going to work, and we've just started working.
As the journey into the next 2 years begins for RHI, the First Lady says more can be achieved given the right support and resources.
I'm to go to the Senate. I'm going to do this program like we do zonal intervention programs. Even if it is 500 million they want to give us, if it is 1 billion, then we're going to use it for this, and then we can be accountable. And I think, we can do that. And it should be with the First Lady who wants to work. She shouldn't be restricted.
2 years on, we've done all these things in the States. We've helped the elderly, the disabled, women farmers. We've done the Every Home a Garden, so many interventions.
The next quarterly meeting holds in September this year. In the State House, Adeni Itaiwu, NTA News.
Kogi State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Femi Fanwo, announced that the state government is focusing on development as a strategy to address insecurity. During a press briefing in Lokoja, Fanwo stated that under Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo, significant investments are being made in agricultural empowerment and critical infrastructure. We are using agriculture not just for food security, but as a weapon against insecurity, he said. Highlighting the importance of empowering youth and rural communities, he noted enhancement in surveillance and communication within the state's security framework and acknowledged recent security incidents, assuring citizens that effective measures are underway. Joint security operations have been launched in hotspots, leading to the arrest of key suspects. Fanwo thanked President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and local vigilante groups for their support and urged citizens to remain calm and back the government's effort to ensure safety and development in Kogi. Now, Nigeria is hosting 50 African countries at the 4th African Union MSME Forum, aimed at addressing challenges affecting small businesses, particularly affordable financing, enhancing digital transformation, and improving market access. Vice President Kashim Shettima at the event called for intra-Africa trade and support for the growth of small businesses on the continent. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila has more.
Building resilient MSMEs through digital innovation, market access and affordable financing for Africa is the theme of the 4th Africa Union MSME Forum. It is an opportunity to empower micro, small and medium enterprises, develop intra-African value chains and strengthen policies on MSME development.
Over the next 2 days, let us delve into the heart of these issues, not as insurmountable obstacles, but as opportunities for collective action and innovation.
Part of the things we hope to be seeing in the next 3 days is deliberating as Africans on how we can sustain this tempo.
Each of these gatherings has provided capacity building opportunities for MSMEs showcase their business and access to new markets in the ACFTA and the rest of the world. During the 3rd MSME Forum, we launched the inaugural Enterprise Africa Network Fellowship Program with 56 selected business from over 30 African nationalities, and some of them are exhibiting their products here today. Over the last few months, their growth and progress have been remarkable, with significant impact in sustainable agriculture, manufacturing, digital transformation, mineral resource value addition, and creative industries.
This is also expected to expose key players and other stakeholders to leverage the platform provided by the forum to build new networks for investment and market access across Africa and beyond.
That is why we must not only build local infrastructure for entrepreneurial expansion, but must also entrench cross-border cooperation. Our destinies, after all, are bound together. Still, we are not naive about the obstacles that confront our MSMEs. Limited access to affordable finance remains a recurring nightmare. It costs our continent not just money, it costs us momentum. The African Union's recent launch of the Akili AI platform in partnership with Meta and Deloitte is a bold step in the right direction. It is a sign that we are not just watching the world change, we are part of the change.
The African Trade Observatory is a very useful digital.
Other stakeholders at the forum commended Nigeria's significant milestone in hosting the event, describing it as one way of showcasing to the world that Nigeria is ready to do business, pledging commitment and support of their organizations toward a successful forum. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
We'll take another short break. Please do stay with us.
I am pleased to announce encouraging news from the National Bureau of Statistics, which released the Consumer Price Index, the CPI, for April 2025 only yesterday. According to the report, the headline inflation rate for April stood at 23.71%, This represents a decrease of 0.52% from the 24.23% recorded in March 2025. Similarly, month-on-month inflation dropped by a notable 2.04%, from 3.90% in March to 1.86% in April. This, of course, did not just happen by chance. The President is focused and is determined, and his determination and his interventions are clearly paying off. The benefits of reform, though gradual, are real and measurable.
Thank you for staying tuned. Stakeholders in cocoa value chain advocate increase in production to compete in global markets. Details with Alika Okpana-Chiarwa on Business News.
Tea and coffee remains a big revenue spinner in the world market, and global markets for coffee is set to hit $286.8 million. Analyst says Nigeria loses over 40 billion naira on tea and coffee revenue, as the produce has seen a significant dip in production and exports, with less than 60,000 metric tons produced yearly. They believe a competitive coffee market will boost local production and exports.
We have the best of the tea here. If there is an adequate arrangement, and we in our organization now, we have every product, we have its own kind of organization based on that product. So it enables us to know the varieties we have in the whole country, and it enables us to know the volume we can have in a certain season.
There are two popular coffee varieties in Nigeria, Arabica and Robusta. Arabica is mostly grown on the Mabila in Taraba State, where Robusta is mostly produced in Abia, Osun, and Ondo states. With Business News, Alika Okpana-Chiarwa.
The Senate has tasked the Nigeria Customs Service to work towards achieving collection of 10 trillion naira revenue in 2025. This amount represents a 30% increase in the year's target of 6.5 trillion naira. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that these and other issues dominated the financial performance assessment engagement between the management of the service and the oversighting committees in the Senate and House of Representatives.
The Nigeria Customs Service surpassed its revenue target in 2024 as it generated 6.1 trillion naira, representing a surplus of 10% on the initial 5.1 trillion naira target. This, the Senate Committee on Customs says, is commendable and noted that the tax reforms being put in place will give the service more leverage.
You have to double your efforts. You must get us nothing less than 10 trillion by the end of this financial year. Customs is one of the pivotal agencies that is responsible for driving of revenue generation in this country. You need to brace up in terms of your surveillance. And then with respect to illicit drugs too, you also need to ensure that as much as possible you should be on top of your game.
The lawmakers, however, took a swipe at the suspension of the implementation of the 4% free on board FOB charges, which, according to the customs officials, was based on a directive from the Ministry of Finance.
Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. It's not. Ignorantia juris non excusat. So whatever it is, nobody, no authority in Nigeria is above the law. Once it is law, you are duty bound to implement it.
The Senate committee is to engage the Finance Ministry on the issue. At similar performance assessment session with the House Committee on Customs, Chairman of the committee asked the service to stop collection of 1% comprehensive import supervision scheme levy, which it says is not backed by law.
Even the 7% cost of collection you are taking is equally illegal. It's an executive fiat of the military. We'll give you the opportunity of these few days. Any attempt to try it and collect the CISS on 1st of July, you will face the wrath of the law. Go back to what the law says you should do in section 18(1)(a).
Throughout last year, we did not receive anything under 1% CISS.
The committee advised the Nigeria Customs to ensure that all its activities align with statutory provisions. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Still from the National Assembly, the House of Representatives has assured citizens that requests for creation of local governments will be scrutinized in line with constitutional requirements and government's quest for grassroots development. Deputy Speaker of the House and Chairman House Committee on Constitution Review, Benjamin Kalu, stated this when he received the Abiriba Communal Improvement Union Worldwide, led by its President General, Yuchi Otawa, at the National Assembly. Kalu advised the union to adhere to constitutional requirements in its quest for the creation of Abiriba local government area, noting that the constitution review process is focused on devolving powers to local governments to drive grassroots development.
It's the development that will stimulate growth. It's a process. If you have submitted your document within the timeline that we gave, it will be considered. If you did it, it may not be considered.
Our memorandum is requesting for creation of Abiriba local government area out of the present Ohafia local government area of Abia State. We firmly believe that this request will receive fair consideration by the National Assembly, Abia State House of Assembly, and the President during the ongoing amendment of 1999 Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The Deputy Speaker also urged communities to prioritize their needs for government intervention at all levels. Away from the National Assembly, effective management of radiation emergencies and minimizing exposure are taking center stage at an International Atomic Energy Agency capacity building training underway in Nigeria. Ayodeji Makinde reports that the regional training focuses on the safe application of nuclear and radiation-based technologies.
Scenes like these are increasingly familiar, whether by air, sea, or land. This growing reality poses significant concern for regulatory authorities, especially the Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority, NNRA.
So radiation sources are used extensively in Nigeria.
NNRA Director General Dr. Yel Usman Idris explains that everyday sources from 5G technology and electric power lines to microwave ovens and airport body scanners highlight the urgent need to mitigate the harmful effects of ionizing radiation. Officials from over 35 countries have gathered in Abuja for a specialized IAEA training program on international safety standards. Over the course of 12-day training, participants will explore collaborative strategies to close existing gaps and anticipate future needs in radiation safety networks.
You will have module feedback and workshop feedback, group work presentations and case study analysis.
The IEA has asked the NNRA to provide 6 names of people that we think that they can be experts, that will be moving from one country to another, training other African countries on radiation emergency and preparing a response.
After all, radiation emission is part of everyday life. All efforts are geared towards minimizing exposure to other harmful particles. In Abuja, Ayodeji, Makinde, NTA News.
26 years into Nigeria's growing democracy, stakeholders on the platform of the National Democracy Stakeholders Group say the journey has been fruitful despite hiccups and describes the midterm performance under the Renewed Hope agenda as positive. Our political correspondent Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that this was during the inauguration of the 2025 Democracy Week celebration under the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation.
With the Tinubu's midterm review as a yardstick.
Nigeria's Fourth Republic has crossed an extraordinary milestone. 25 years of uninterrupted democratic governance. This is no small feat. It is a testimony to the resilience of our institutions.
The theme of this year's engagement, midterm assessment of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, is very timely as it offers us an invaluable opportunity to reflect, recalibrate, and refocus governance strategies.
The midterm reviews are not merely ceremonial assessments. They are democratic instruments of transparency and accountability.
Civil society community, professional associations, traditional rulers, labor union, and the media all have roles to play in checking SSs and promoting participatory governance.
This session also advocates continued improvement in the nation's electoral process, renewed vigor in taming corruption, and passion in driving a system that is truly democratic, with a display of a mini documentary to x-ray Nigeria's national life under the National Democratic Stakeholders Group approach. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
Stakeholders under the aegis of Mopamuro Progressive Leaders Forum has distanced itself from a recent publication titled The Position of Mopamuro Leaders on the 2027 Yagba Federal Constituency Election, describing it as unrepresentative of the current political realities in the constituency and misaligned with the strategic interests of the All Progressives Congress APC. The rejoinder, signed by over 20 prominent APC chieftains and former government officials from Mopamuro local government area, emphasized that while they respect the right of every citizen to voice political opinions, the idea of rotational representation without regard to recent electoral dynamics is outdated and potentially harmful to party cohesion and electoral success. The forum noted that despite producing APC candidates in both 2019 and 2023, Mopamuro lost to Representative Leke Abe Jide due to his broad-based popularity across the 3 local government areas, citing that Abe Jide even won 6 of 10 wards in Mopamuro in the last election. The group disclosed its current plan to rally support for Leke, urging him to join the APC and consolidate his re-election bid under the ruling party's banner. The signatories criticized proponents of the rotation agenda, alleging that many are driven by personal ambition rather than collective party interest. 2 of the signatories were defeated by Abejide in past elections, even on the APC ticket. The statement said others who could barely win their polling units are threatening to repeat history by once again contesting, risking the party's fortunes. However, the forum Death comes to all, but when a husband dies, the wife faces a different reality. As the world marks International Widows Day 2025, widows in Nigeria speak. They demand action, seek rights, and call for change. Ngozi Technical reports on widowhood in Nigeria, the impact, the response, and the push for reform.
This was the family of Polycarp Dike. 14 years ago, his death left a space that words could not fill. Since then, Rufina, his wife, has walked the road alone, raising and educating 3 children without support. Now a mother of 3 graduates, she speaks of the burden many widows carry, a burden often unseen, unheard, and unresolved.
When I lost my husband, I suffered a lot. I thought the world has ended, but I didn't know that I can be able to cope today. My son was in secondary school, about to write WAEC. Since then, I've been struggling alone. I've been carrying the family alone. I've been coping alone without no helper.
I'm being a widow now, 25 years, a widow. Well, my husband died. I have 9 children. I suffer a lot. So for my children, I sell markets and I trade them. And I train them. 5 young graduates, 1 is still there in school now.
The way forward to change the face of widows is still the government to call us, let's sit down together. By that time, we'll be telling them what is happening to us, the areas we want them to come in.
As the world marks International Widows Day 2025, this year's theme focuses on empowerment. With insecurity and other factors increasing the number of widows, both government institutions and NGOs are being urged to implement measures that protect rights and improve welfare of widows.
If the woman loses hope, then the hope of the children are shattered. So my message to the widows is that there is hope. Don't give up. Keep pushing. From the little you are doing, believe from that little you will still make it. And then to the society at large, any widow you see around you is someone you need to help.
And these associations are of immense concern to the National Council of Human Societies. And whenever we have livelihood, we have humanitarian gifts to distribute, we consider them first.
Widows call for direct access to support, not through intermediaries. For Rufina, the struggle continues. Her children remain unemployed despite completing their education. Rufina's story is just one among many. Behind the statistics are real lives. Women who continue to rebuild without recognition, without rest. Ngozi Technical, NTA News.
Many thanks, Ngozi. We pray for more support for these special women. Moving on, across Africa, millions still face the everyday realities of poverty, children missing out of school, families displaced by extreme weather, and communities without access to clean water or basic health care. But there's a growing movement to change that. Thomas Ogbetere tells us more.
The Africa Social Impact Summit stands as a powerful platform where local innovators and global partners come together to tackle Nigerians' toughest challenges. Their shared goal is to create practical, scalable solutions that push the countries closer to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, both in rural areas and busy urban centers. Across Nigeria, young changemakers are driving the progress with bold, meaningful ideas. For individuals like Justice Raymond Manse, Toshima Daniel, and Ilona John, these issues are deeply personal.
Niger states like Maiduguri, where there was flood, and because of that, it has impacted negatively on the economy.
The cutting down of trees, and it is a very one of the major climate change that affects the country.
everywhere we see plastic. It's not a good thing to be just throwing away plastic like that. You can sell the plastic.
This year's summit is putting people first, spotlighting real stories and real solutions. Organizers say the focus will be on building action-oriented partnership to fight poverty, close education gap, address the climate crisis and tackle inequality.
To ensure we continue having the right policies, and where they exist, they are also being well implemented.
As the countdown kicks off, one thing is crystal clear. Real change only happens when working together, and every idea has to make a difference where it truly counts. For changemakers and thousands of others, the Africa Social Impact Summit isn't just another event. It's a powerful source of hope and a springboard for opportunity. In Abuja, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
And next is foreign scene.
The U.S. President Donald Trump has announced a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, saying it is now in effect and urges both sides not to violate it. This comes after Iran launched several volleys of missiles at Israel, killing at least 4 people in the southern city of Beersheba. Earlier, Iran's foreign minister said there is no agreement on a ceasefire with Israel, but that Tehran will halt attacks if Israel stops its illegal aggression. Israel is yet to comment publicly. Iran also fired a salvo of missiles at the military base in Qatar that houses American troops on Monday evening, in retaliation for the U.S. attacks on its nuclear sites a day earlier. Iran says that more than 400 people, including 13 children, have been killed and at least 3,056 others wounded since Israel launched its attack on June 13. In Israel, at least 24 people have been killed in Iranian strikes.
A total of 23,462 delegates and worshippers of Jehovah's Witnesses converged on the nation's capital for the 2025 Annual Regional Convention with the theme Pure Worship. Serafina Okonomekwe reports that the delegates were admonished to maintain an upright life irrespective of challenges, as loyalty to Jehovah demands absolute respect and sacrifice, with special focus on spiritual growth and evangelism.
Driven with one purpose, vision, and faith, irrespective of age, health status, color, or tribe, witnesses of Jehovah in their thousands gathered at the Moshood Abiola Stadium, Abuja, for its annual 2025 conference. The 3-day gathering had Bible-based talks, drama reenactments, and discussions